To bring America back to sanity, this problem is essential. You'll begin to see the rest of the world differently after this issue helps you remove the biggest story in sports from your perception. Joe Wilson is the most underappreciated player in women's basketball in the WNBA MVP. A year ago, she was caught on camera lecturing, gesturing, and informing her teammate Kelsey Plummer about her white privilege and other things. I really like how old you look. You claim like that you're not really into me. She is aware of how her privilege led her to that position as well, and she's good at basketball. However, she is aware of her privilege. It almost feels as though it pushes her over the edge. It makes me think of you a lot, and every time I think the current MVP of the WNBA. A'ja Wilson is in serious difficulty and a danger of receiving a lifelong suspension for trying to play the victim while living in extreme luxury. She recently started pointing at Caitlin Clark in a widely shared video, screaming that white athletes like Paige Becker need to be grateful for their privilege. Are you hear yourself, A'ja? You lead the league and nothing but justifications. You're practically eliminated from the playoffs. Next to that, you should be concentrating on playing the ball, not on getting suspended. All of A'ja Wilson's statements are no, I don't. I probably have a tendency to believe that it was intentional. Realized she was being videotaped, knew it would circulate, and it was since this was, I believe, a year ago. And this week it has become viral. However, it seemed like a message meant for Caitlin Clark. What kind of bravery is it to live a life of luxury and then accuse other players of having unfair advantages? Really odd job while you sit back and play victim and oppressor. Kim Clark is out there making waves in the industry, breaking records and carrying the league. That is completely absurd. Try getting off your high horse. Competing before you start to disparage others. A 5'0" white chick who wants to rip your head off is entering the lead with 85% black women. Just plain and simple. Is that right? That's really all there is to. Furthermore, I was a you-know-me care for years, ever strolling into the changing area like, whoa, I had no idea. Let's dissect this. Live from layer to layer. Or Joe Wilson wants everyone to think that she is up against a massive, appallingly oppressive system. Let's not fool ourselves. No, to wish for the private school she attended was $20,000. Thus, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum were out there striving for the top while she was enjoying her excellent espresso and a well-groomed environment. Your life story is not a lament over unfairness. It embodies luxury to the fullest. You do appear to press. Isaiah standing at 6'5" with a stable family background and all the resources at your disposal. I believe that one of the main reasons why no one has been interested in this league for the previous 20-odd years is because of the can't see and the ill-mannered, nasty attitudes that many of these players are display. To be honest, I wouldn't hold it against someone if they were merely fans of Caitlin Clark or the Indiana Fever and continue to follow her games. Going ahead, to be honest, I believe it is entirely justified because, quite simply, she talks about privileges, though she's the only one with difficulties. RJ, you were given every opportunity on a silver platter, but Clark and Plummer out there are earning their stripes, repeatedly demonstrating their worth, since no one was pulling out all the stops for that. Look over your own life, A'ja. If privilege means having the best coaches, schools, and path predetermined for you, being conveyed to Caitlin Clark in a way that suggests this is how you need to be if you want to join our league, and I believe that Nike's been targeted. No idea. He just likes to stand there cloaked in victimization, as though it would make her more popular. The double standard is almost unbearable. You're out here saying these white players don't understand our job, but you make money every day from your own particular kind of privilege. Remember how you got to where you are before pointing the finger at others. Many of you have the same people who were criticizing and claiming that you are racists and that we didn't need or want your help. In theory, you should be content with the lesser rating since you're receiving what you want. Thus, use caution when making wishes. Since what players like Kelsey Plum and Caitlin Clark earn their spots and lead, they weren't admitted based only on the color of their skin. However, I guess acknowledging their efforts does not fit into your story of what is it. Now let's discuss Jason Whitlock. Total destruction of our job. Wilson, he didn't hold back when it came to dissect the absurd thing she claimed about white privilege. This is Joe Wilson, the same person who has most likely never had to share a locker room with a malfunctioning heater, and yet she's the one giving everyone else lectures about Pano. The irony is almost too much to bear. A 5 white chick who wants to just take your head on straight up in a league where black women make up 85% of the players. As if that were the only reality. Furthermore, I was ignorant and I gotta go. Whitlock understood when he made that observation. That she has the audacity to voice their complaints despite living in a world of affluence. How are you able to say that with a straight face? To cherry on top of the celebration is the Nike deal. With this is when the real laughs start. Nike offers Aji a signature shoe contract after she has wasted all of her time talking trash about Caitlin Clark and so-called white privilege as in what allow me to set the record straight. She calls Clark out, makes racial remarks, manipulates the narrative like a cheap tabloid, and now Nike is treating her like a queen. Nike has a distinctive shoe and logo design by Asia Wilson nobody will purchase, or shoe nobody's concern. However, Nike is going over and beyond to appease Dance Daily as your Wilson and the entire BLM brigade. RJ needs to be promoted first. RGO must therefore adopt a certain way of thinking in order to defend the treatment she knows she doesn't deserve. Nike made a terrible decision by selecting Asia Wilson over Caitlin Clark, like betting your entire income on a snail to win the Kentucky Derby. That's how it feels. Who gave the money for a multi-million-dollar shoe contract to a person who barely gets excited? Bless your heart idea, but let's talk business. There are no lines for me to purchase leaguers bearing your name. It is absurd. Just be careful not to get blacklisted. Please add-ons. You must therefore adopt a certain way of thinking in order to defend the treatment she knows she doesn't deserve. With Caitlin Clark, the real star who had the entire world glued to their TVs, Nike had a chance to cash in however you went and stood by someone who was trapped in a victim narrative. What Caitlin is essentially carrying the WNBA on her shoulders. Isaiah is busy shouting about white privilege and trying to slant the story to suit her while Caitlin is setting records and making unbelievable plays, dunks, threes from half court like free throws. Caitlin is now revising the script in its entirety. She is thriving rather than merely getting by. It's almost hilarious to watch Asia tend to look current while Caitlin is surrounded by true admirers. We can appreciate her talent. There are more people than only way people who support Caitlin. Oh no, she has won the admiration and respect of people from all walks of life, including a significant number of black followers who acknowledge her as the phenomenon that she is, an innovator. And I will bring this up once more. The fact that some of Caitlin Clark's biggest fans are non-white people is one of the Phantom's more intriguing features. Actually, they're male black people, therefore that has turned into something that they consider to be problematic. It has also established a culture. Isaiah is over there frantically trying to catch up while clutching her pearls while Caitlin continues to push the boundaries of what's possible in women's basketball. She's in every tired story and every excuse in the book. It's like watching someone competing in a 100-meter dash overtake a marathon runner while Caitlin is already crossed the finish line and is celebrating. Aji is still struggling to breathe. Aja's attempts to undermine Caitlin are not only depressing but pathetic. She makes her own vulnerabilities clear every time she lets her mouth down to complain about privilege. Although she's trying to play the victim, it appears more and more obvious that she's frightened of being overlooked as she talks more. You already are, Asia. This you call it the air suppression when the Caitlin Clark she was released, whenever that may be, because in essence they're using everything about the league's most will-like player, Ajo Wilson, to promote her. Cave legacy is already cemented, and your attempts to undermine her only serve to diminish yourself. Young people will look up to Caitlin as their favorite player, and she will get the most attention. You think you're telling a tale, but in truth all you're doing is building a wall between yourself and the outside world. Nike is actually supporting the wrong horse as they are busy foresee I was his shoes down everyone's throats in the hopes that they will become the next big thing. Caitlin is the true story, the real reality, and Caitlin is in charge while I shot is mired in her victim mentality. Better luck the next time, like you're stuck with a character whose significance is diminishing more quickly than her story when you should have seen who the real queen is. Audio would also win the MVP award in that league of irony were sport. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark is achieving epic stats, shattering records, and acting like a true superstar. However, Nike intends to present our job as the main draw. Has no effect on TV ratings. He doesn't operate like that. That's our job. Wilson's identity, however, she must develop the mentality that I'm old this, and you white girls better shove it in my face while I get what's old to me. It's all fair. The restitution are infinite. Nike is completely ignoring Caitlin Clark, the real store and highlight reel of the WNBA, in favor of marketing Asia as the league's face. Perhaps Nike to get the memo, but spectators would rather see skill than chaos. This goes beyond just a bad marketing campaign. It's blatantly embarrassing. It's amazing how different Asia's self-described struggle is from who is genuinely dominating the court. However, Aga keep pushing that narrative as it is clearly benefiting everyone but you. The market footwear has no effect on TV ratings. He doesn't operate like that. That's our job. Wilson's identity, however, she must develop the mentality that I'm old this, and you white girls better shove it in my face while I get what's old to me. It's all fair. The restitution are infinite. While Asia is out here complaining and creating controversy in an attempt to stay relevant, Caitlin Clark is busy breaking records and writing history, she's drawing audiences of scale you could only imagine. 1.8 million people watched Caitlyn games intently, whereas only 900,000 people watched our Jays. The numbers speak for themselves, our job, and they're not looking well for you. Therefore, Caitlyn Clark is out here proving that she's the real star everyone has been waiting to see while you're whining about your luxury. I think Caitlyn Clark pulled in 1.8 million views on an NFL Sunday 2 Sundays ago, as your Wilson attracted 900,000 spectators to the Liberty game on NFL Sunday. Actually, that's 300,000 and more than I had estimated. If I had predicted that it would fall to about 600,000. It nearly breaks your heart, Asha. You're incredibly talented, but instead of using that talent to reach new heights, you are using your platform to assign blame and voice grievances over perceived slights. Maybe instead of spending so much time trying to be the victim, you might embrace your role as a sports leader and talk more about your game than your grievances. The Las Vegas Aces are in danger of missing out on the WNBA playoffs, and they haven't been in the headlines lately for the right reasons. It's not just that Caitlyn Clark is white that is drawing attention. Every time she plays, she lights up the court. You yell at the wind while standing there with your arms crossed, hoping that someone will believe your narrative and that you'll win another title. However, that seems improbable, doesn't it? Additionally, Becky Hammon had some insightful things to say about her players and what it's like to be down 0-2 following their most recent loss of Liberty. Right then, what are you saying to your team? Additionally, this team has won championships twice in a row. This is a team that clearly understands its responsibilities. Why isn't it occurring here in a manner that wasn't observed during the 22-23 players? To be honest, we haven't had the upper hand. We did discover it last month, Though we seem to have made significant progress, the vibe wasn't the same as it was at the start. Consequently, 3-feeding is considered art. Let's speak honestly. For example, the league has been in disarray for the past 8 months, and you become sidetracked because my guys have pure and ads and other media and are treated like superstars. That's why it's challenging. It's absurd that she dismisses or squad and claims that the reason our players are here is because they star in commercials and are celebrities. Here are some suggestions before you start lecturing others about privilege. Take a look in the mirror, even if you're sitting there and seizing every chance that comes your way. Because of your status and abilities, you behave as though everyone is against you.